Hello, 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 everyone. What is going on? James here, and welcome back to the podcast. Here with me, Mr. GC.
Hello, everybody.
So we are covering a pretty serious, sad topic today. It is basically the whole situation with Dan Schneider and Nickelodeon as a whole, all the weird stuff that's coming out about particular things that he's done, and there was a whole documentary done on all of his very strange, bizarre shenanigans, and yeah. So there's some there's some very good, insightful videos done on it. So
And very disgusting type things as well.
Yeah, they are disgusting, but there's some, sensitive societies done some good videos on it. So we might as well react to what he says.
I've never told my story publicly. Anytime I would have an audition or anytime I needed to work on dialogue or anything, I somehow ended up back at Brian's house.
So I see we stole Penguin Zero's
and worse.
It truly
a video title.
Times
I don't know. Well, hold on.
Then Schneider is a creep.
Oh yeah, we did. I thought you meant. Well, we technically all stole it, didn't we? Well, no,
I think if we did not put like creep in capital letters, that might work instead.
Oh well.
I've made Dan Schneider references throughout, the thousands of videos that are public on this channel. And what surprises me is that I've never made a full dedicated video about Dan Schneider and what's going on with him, Drake Bell, and other Nickelodeon stars coming forward talking about their horrible experiences, not only with Dan Schneider, but with other.
Did you watch that interview?
I've been looking at this for the last.
I've seen bits and pieces, and it's pathetic. It really is disgusting.
Yeah. Like he starts crying and then he just stops. Yeah.
Normal. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, man.
I must say, halfway through Quinton reviews his video with that Brian Peck, I thought it might have been related to Josh Peck, being that Josh Peck was the one who was basically defending Dan Schneider and things like that.
Well, he's been defending him?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a prick.
Uh-huh.
What excuses did he come up with for him?
I don't think he come up with excuses. I think he was just saying how he was a nice guy and things like that. So a bit iffy. He did a really weird TikTok as well. I don't know if you can look it up or not. Like Josh Peck TikTok or something like that. It might come up. And he starts shouting to the camera. I can always find it if you want me to. Get a bit off topic. Do you know that actor one that I've got?
What? Oh, the ghost.
Yeah, the old one I've got. Yeah, well, they've just announced they're making a version from 1984, so it's going to be like a brand new looking car, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I'll send you. I'll put. I did put a picture in it in chat, and he did reply that it's that one. Have you found the video, or you want me to send it to you?
I'm not really bothered, man. I mean, I don't know if him shouting will really make much of a difference.
Well, no, it's just weird what he says.
Josh Peck speaks out. Here we go.
Since 2023? Take that as a fucking sign? So Josh Peck has just posted this video a couple of days
I've seen bits of this. It's the most pathetic. Thing I've alive.
Against Dan Schneider.
It really is.
On Nickelodeon. For example, your silence is loud, not popping up right after Drake exposed it. Basically, Drake and Josh, he's Josh. Drake already exposed all the bad stuff that has happened. As you can see from this post on Twitter, Josh Peck is receiving backlash for not speaking up in defense for Drake Bell's coming forward with his claims of abuse as a child star. So apparently Drake made a video or something and then exposed it. Stuff is weird. Okay, first off, look at this guy. Are you even surprised? Can't even begin to talk about the stuff he made Ariana Grande do. Like, it is, this stuff goes deep and it is very, very weird. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. And is this guy gonna go to jail? Is he not already? If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a fucking sign that you don't exist to me anymore. You got sprayed with the raid. Bye. See you in that bar. If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a fucking sign that you don't exist to me anymore.
Yeah, it's just very weird shit in it. Well, let's talk about this then.
Days. And just look at this guy right here. This is that guy who went to jail for a few months after, and I don't even have to say allegedly, after he sexually assaulted Drake Bell. Sometimes you can just tell when you're watching, when you're looking at a creep. This guy just has a pedophile face, if you will. Some people can hide it, and some simply cannot. And well, this guy known as Brian Peck is one of them. And this is when we get into the whole Dan Schneider situation. He was the producer behind some of Nickelodeon's biggest shows, Kenan and Kel, The Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, Zoe 101, iCarly, Victorious, Sam and Cat, which flopped. So yeah, he had a pretty big role when it comes to working at Nickelodeon. He had a pretty comfortable seat. Now, everyone here and their mama knows exactly how much of a freak Dan Schneider is, and this picture, I don't even have to say anything. There's legitimately no reason why this needed to be filmed. Dan Schneider was extremely, and I mean extremely, into feed. If you search up Dan Schneider feed, I mean, here we have another one. Here we have another example of Dan Schneider's foot fetish. And here we have another example.
Oh, for God's sake.
And of course, everyone knows about this image.
What
this
the
image right here
hell?
straight up feels illegal. I feel like I'm going to jail just for looking at it. So I'm just going to stop right here. You get the point. Dan Schneider, huge creep. And yesterday, Dan Schneider responded. He made this video called Dan Schneider Talks About Quiet on the Set. And in case you guys don't know, Quiet on the Set is a show that's going on Max, I believe, where they're getting Nickelodeon stars such as Drake Bell to talk about their experiences working at Nick. I mean, just take a look at this clip.
It was a different time, so I think it was a little easier to go to and from a courthouse and not worry about Twitter that night. TMZ paparazzis being there. On the day of sentencing for Brian, I get to the courthouse. It was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen. His entire side of the courtroom was full. Full.
Crazy.
There were definitely some recognizable faces on that side of the room. And my side was me, my mom, and my brother.
I'm sure some top Nick
executives
were right there to protect this fucking creep that is Brian Peck. And like I said, he did go to jail. He is a convicted sex offender. He was arrested on August 19, 2003 for lewd conduct with a minor. And then this is where it gets crazy. After his release, he was hired to work on the Disney Channel Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Can you still hear me?
3 episodes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's good, that's fine.
Was later fired by Disney after his conviction came up.
Brian had been convicted, but getting all of this.
I just had a therapy session earlier, so I need a little decompress. Getting therapy was probably one of the best things.
Support from a lot of people in the industry, and yeah, I was pretty shocked. My mom got up, she had a statement. I wasn't going to address Brian. There was no reason to. I addressed my statement to everyone in the room. I looked at all of them, and I just said, "How dare you?" And I said, "You will forever have the memory of sitting in this courtroom and defending this person. And I will forever have the memory of the person you're defending violating me and doing unspeakable acts and crimes.
Disgusting. How can they defend a nonce just because he's their boss or he's some high up or he thinks...
No, it's because he lied to him.
Oh. I think, I don't know, like, you shouldn't really... You should... I don't know, maybe they could have talked to, you know, Drake. Maybe they could have talked to him and just sort of said, like, what went on. Let's see your side of the story as well before just jump into the conclusion that Brian Peck was in the right when he clearly wasn't.
That's what I'll remember.
I don't know if this is a hot take.
Well, that's what they should have done, yeah.
Like, get me hate or criticism, but at this point, I don't really care. Anyone who ever harms a kid physically should honestly be given the electric chair, and I will not hear anything.
Hey, what a legend! King of the game, sensitive society, based. Does not give a fuck. I mean, oh no, oh no, oh for God's sake. I'm not reading that. See the mad edge.
I heard that Callum told edited Dan Schneider.
Callum would absolutely batter the shit out of Dan Schneider. He wouldn't let him get anywhere near Eddie.
What do you mean, the best friends?
Disgusting, George. Disgusting. To be honest, though, although I've said before, I think convicted cold-blooded murderers deserve the lethal injection. As much as I think other crimes deserve like life in prison forever. If I think it's a law in Florida, to be fair, I think if there are nonces out there and they're convicted, they are sentenced to death. So it doesn't bother me. I'm not. In a way, it stops them from.
Well, it's what should happen, really.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? At the end of the day, I've got no problem with those evil people being killed because if they're convicted and they 100% did it, then fuck them in it, you know.
You literally ruin kids.
I'll be back in a second.
Jail is not enough, honestly. A year is nothing. 6 years is nothing. You potentially ruined that person's life forever, and you only do 6 years? Nah, dude. You get the fucking electric chair. You're done. You need to be cooked. This is where we get into Dan Schneider in his video. I just wanted to give you guys some context of what's going on with everything.
Hey, it's Boogie. I played Tebow on Nickelodeon's iCarly.
Nah, not fucking Tebow. No, Tebow. Go back to making smoothies. This ain't it.
I got a chance to watch the Quiet on Set program, and I reached out to Dan to see if it was something that he'd be willing to discuss. I'm pleased to say that he said yes.
You know, I don't want to keep cutting it every 5 seconds, but it's like, what other choice does he have? Right now, he's being completely cooked by everyone online. He did it because he needed to respond. What do you mean? Seems like this guy say, whoa, we are blessed by his presence. Thankfully, he's going to give us some time to respond to everything that's going on Quiet on the Set.
Dan, how are you?
I'm okay. I really appreciate you reaching out and giving me the opportunity to talk to you about what we saw over the last 2 nights.
I'm really glad you're here because I believe this is important.
For sure.
We've got a lot of things to unpack. But before I dive into my list of topics that I'd like to discuss, is there anything you'd like to start off with?
Absolutely. Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret. And I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology.
Let's talk about the massage.
Well, why the fuck didn't he give him an apology years ago when he did it at the time? Clearly not actually that bothered. Boogie looks a bit different from...
Okay.
Watching the content yesterday, it was disturbing.
It was wrong. It was wrong that I ever put anybody in that position. It was the wrong thing to do. I'd never do it today. I'm embarrassed that I did it then. I apologize to anybody that I ever put in that situation. And even additionally, I apologize to the people who were walking around Video Village or wherever they happened, because there were lots of people there who witnessed it who also may have felt uncomfortable. So I owe them an apology as well.
Yeah. Dan, talk to me.
So this guy sucks as an interviewer. Like, I know this is like the most script tight sealed interview of all time. Of course, he's not going to ask hard-hitting questions. Shouldn't you go in deeper than this? Not just like, okay, let's move on to something else. It's like, I know what they're doing here, and I hate it. I hate this fucking BS half mid apologies, and I'm sorry, guys. Just imagine being on the set and you see random ass women massaging this guy's back.
Dan, talk to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
No, and I don't mean to cut you off, but if I can cut right to the chase, let me just say, no writer should ever feel uncomfortable in any writer's room, ever.
Well, then why did he do it over and over again and be a complete creep and a moron? Oh dear, Dan Schneider looks like a 4 champ final boss. No worries, George.
And no excuses. Most TV writers, comedy writers have been in writers' rooms, and they are aware that a lot of times there are inappropriate jokes made and inappropriate topics come up. But the fact that I participated in that, especially when I was leading the room, it embarrasses me. I shouldn't have done it. And I can tell you why it hurts really bad for me.
But you bad. What about all the other people who are affected by your behavior? Idiot.
I remember very clearly my early experiences, my first experiences in the entertainment business. I was green, I was scared, I was excited. It meant the world to me that I was getting those opportunities. And I went in and I got lucky because they were great. My first couple of experiences were fantastic. And the fact that I didn't pay that forward to every employee that walked through my door, it hurts my heart, because I should have. And I wish I could go back and fix that. In the writer's room, there's no doubt that sometimes those jokes went beyond the pale, and I said things that went too far, or made practical jokes that went too far.
Well, I mean, a practical joke like watching Ariana Grande kind of stroking a potato, insinuating that could be a penis, 1,000-foot shots. So, like, how many oopsies can you excuse? Like, one, it's okay, but you have a document to history. Stop trying to play it in this. You're like, oh yeah, sorry, if it looked like that.
I was immature. Wouldn't happen today, but I'm just really sorry it happened.
AKA, I was running all of these shows, So in 101, iCarly, Victorious, Drake and Josh. I was making Nickelodeon millions. I was making millions. My ego was through the roof, and I treated people like shit. That's what he's trying to say, but I'm just like, this is like the BS filter.
Thousands of people have worked with you, for you. Okay. Let's speak directly to the people who did not have a good experience with you.
Okay, I would like to speak to those people, because I hate that anybody worked for me and didn't have a good time. You know me, you've been on my sets. Look, I've had some employees that have worked for me for 10 years, some more than 20 years, who would work with me again, but not everybody. There's still a significant number that didn't have a great time working for me. So my batting average isn't nearly high enough in that area. And the way they wouldn't get the best of me is that I would let the pressure of doing 40 or even more episodes per year, I would let that pressure get to me, which a good boss should never, ever do.
Was there specific things that you were doing?
Sure. I would snap at people sometimes. I would be snarky when I could have given them a nicer answer. I would not give people the time that they needed. I would be in too big a hurry to get on to the next thing I had to do. And watching that show, it made me, there were so many times I wanted to pick up a phone and call some of those people and say, I'm so sorry, and let's talk about it. And I wish
you could have at least sent them a bloody email or something. You could have at least reached out or done it later on and said, look, I acted like an idiot weeks ago if he truly cared. Why is he saying, oh, I wish I could have done it now, years and years and years later? Ridiculous.
I had a better time, and I wish I could have shown you a better experience.
This is the part that I'm like, okay, I kind of
embarrassing isn't the word I'd use.
40
I know, yeah.
A year, you're running all of these crazy
it's ridiculous,
shows, successful shows. You're gonna meet deadline.
Absolute nonsense from Dan Schneider.
And I get that. That's like valid, right? Well, I'm not saying to scream at your employees and make a toxic work environment. What I'm trying to say, but I get it. You can get stressed when you can scream and you can say dumb shit. I understand that. These are just like basic ass questions. Tebow is taking that huge L. I don't think being an interviewer is his thing. I think running a smoothie shop in Seattle might be a better fit for him. So far, these are like the softest questions possible. We all know what we want to ask him. We all know what the number one question is. What's with all the foot stuff? What's with all the sexualizing minors? That's what we want to talk about.
Here we are. Some people think that some of those jokes are inappropriate for children. What do you think of that?
All these jokes that you're speaking of, that the show covered over the past 2 nights.
I guess the big problem is it's on his channel, isn't it? It's on Dan Schneider's shitty channel. So at the end of the day, even if this dude did actually ask hard-hitting questions and ask the questions that the people wanted to know, he's just going to edit it out or, not want to answer it. So the only way you get a proper good interview out of someone is if the person being interviewed doesn't have the control over the interview and can't pull the strings. But obviously he's not going to do that. His career's ruined now. He needs to bloody run off and fly into the sunset. Well, actually, no, not flying to the sunset. He doesn't deserve that. He needs to fly into the sun. No, but he needs to bloody do some fucking jail time, man, the scumbag. So that's what I want. But I guess it makes sense for him to not be in the industry anymore and just run off and hide somewhere because he's going to have a lot of angry people after him, isn't he? So
every one of those jokes was written for a kid audience because kids thought they were funny.
How is someone's feet in the camera funny? What? I don't even. So, like 20 million foot jokes over and over and over again. That's funny, is it? What was humorous about it? What was immature and silly? I understand like fart and poo jokes, yeah, but foot jokes. No, I didn't find foot jokes funny as a kid, so I don't understand him at all.
And only funny. Okay. Now we have some adults looking back at them 20 years later through their lens, and they're looking at them and they're saying, I don't think that's appropriate for a kid's show. And I have no problem with that. If that's how anyone feels, let's cut those jokes out of the show. Just like I would have done 20.
No, because that should have been done in the first place. They shouldn't have been done in the first place. You can't say all these years later, oh, let's just cut the jokes out now. Bro, they shouldn't have been told in the first place. Absolute...
years ago or 25 years ago. I cut it. I want my shows to be popular. I want everyone to like it. The more people who like the shows, the happier I am. Yeah. So if there's anything in a show...
The more people who like the shows, the happier you are. I'm not trying to be rude, but the shows aren't Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad level or Futurama or Last Airbender. They're bloody, I guess, average or a bit above average maybe or a bit below. So he doesn't give a shit about any of that stuff. He doesn't give a care about high quality telly, does he? He just bloody cares about the dollars and bloody fulfilling his bizarre, odd fetishes. Disgrace.
To be cut because it's upsetting somebody, let's cut it.
So I think it's big for you to say with your work, if it's viewed as that today, you don't have a problem.
Cut it. Cut it.
I mean, that's a solution.
The last thing I want to ever do is put any content in a show that's going to upset my audience and make them want to turn off the TV. Why would I ever want to do that?
We're not mad at the edgy whatever jokes there might be on the shows. The issue here, once again, is all the feet stuff. Like, it's not the edginess from the early 2000s that's a problem. The problem is the sexualization of those kids, of those, teens or whatever you guys want to call them. We don't really care if there's like a haha, funny, edgy joke. That's the issue here. It would be a lot better if you guys talked about what kind of jokes, because like you guys said, 2 episodes, a lot of context, a lot of content. A joke is not, let's spray Ariana Grande with water. That's not a joke. That's where the issue is. We don't care about little edginess here and there.
The darkest part of this series discussed child predators. Now, I want to make sure that we clear a couple of things up. Okay. Brian Peck was not hired by you.
No, I did not hire Brian Peck.
This was a Tolan Robbins production?
Yeah. And when Drake and I talked and he told me what had happened, I was more devastated by that than anything that ever happened to me in my career thus far. And I told him, I'm here for you. What do you need? Which Drake mentioned in the show that we watched last night. And Next, I heard that he went to court when this guy was being tried, Peck. And when Drake walked in, he saw 50 people sitting on the side of the courtroom supporting Peck. A lot of them pretty famous. Of course, Drake was devastated that happened. And even more disappointing, 41 of those people wrote letters for Peck, character letters, praising him for who he was and
disgraceful,
asking for leniency. And they knew that he was guilty. They knew he had confessed to some degree, and they still did this.
I didn't know about that bit. I thought they'd all been lied to, as GC mentioned earlier, but we can all get things wrong when it comes to this. So if Dan Schneider's telling the truth, which who knows, and that is pretty sad if they knew that he was guilty to a degree and they still wrote these letters saying, "Oh, he's such an alright person. What a joke. What a disgusting, what a disgusting, utterly horrendous thing."
Do that.
I don't want to be like, but why didn't you? And I think the situation is warranted and valid. He knew that Drake Bell was alone with his mom and brother against 40 other people, high-ranking people. Why didn't you back up Drake Bell?
Exactly.
Like, your career would have never been over. I mean, you were, at your peak at that point, 2002, 2003. You could have helped out tremendously, yet you sit it out, and you're like, yeah, I got you. I got you, Drake Bell. And you can't show up for that, to defend him, to be on his side. I think if that would have happened, a lot of things would have switched for the best. Dan Schneider's reputation would have been a lot better. Look at this tweet that's going viral right now. All these men wrote letters of support for 41-year-old Brian Beck, the guy who sexually assaulted Drake Bell and others, after it was revealed that he was R-wording Drake Bell from the ages 14 to 15. Imagine knowing that a 41-year-old was raping a 14-year-old, and you still write letters to the judge so he can get less time or he can get no time at all. Fucking disgusting.
I don't know if people know this, but Drake's mom, a lovely woman who I stay in contact with this day, she came to me at the time and she said, Dan, I'm not good with words like you are. And would you help me with my speech for the judge? And I said, of course. And I did. And he ended up going to prison and serving his time. And yeah, that was probably the darkest part of my career.
I mean, if you feel that bad about it, if Drake Bell's mom was hitting you up and you felt so bad, why not show up? Like, that's my question.
Yeah,
why didn't
exactly. Why didn't he just go and help out if he was really that bothered? Instead, he just, as Sensitive mentioned, he just sat out and did nothing.
Oh, were you told not to go by Nickelodeon? If I tell someone, yo, I'm here for you, whatever you need, and then their mom calls me personally telling me, yo, can you help me write my statement to go, against the judge or whatever, I would show up. If we're such a good friends, I'm 1,000% showing up to support you and be on the right side of history. Hopefully he tells us why. That'd be great to know. Honestly, this does not change my mind about Dan Schneider. I still think he's a disgusting freak. This guy's not in his 48 hours since the last time we talked about Dan Schneider here on the channel. And before anyone says it, no, I am not here to milk
George, calm down,
extremely
bloody hell.
milkable and juicy old man. And since all of this has been blowing up because of the Dan Schneider interview and because of the Quiet on the Set TV show, and everyone has their eyes on Nickelodeon and their past, their extremely shady past, I've just been seeing tweet after tweet after tweet of new evidence of Dan Schneider being inappropriate. And we also have Josh being a douchebag to Drake Bell. It does seem like we're watching the empire that is Nickelodeon crumble. And yes, growing up, I was a Nick kid. Okay, I was into iCarly, Drake and Josh, Big Time Rush, SpongeBob, and some other shows that I'm probably forgetting about. But for now, I want to focus on some very interesting clips that have been circulating over the last 48 hours. One of the most popular ones that I've seen has 7 million views.
Now look, honestly, in trying to figure out what I could say today about Miss Miranda for her birthday, I come to the conclusion that what you can say is, what can't you say? I mean, honest to God, I can
Hold on. Did you see the way he graphed her? I want to say a lot of other things about Dan Schneider.
So bloody strange.
But just look at the way.
What is this man's problem? like grabbing and rocking someone. I don't even when really, really odd behavior, man. Really, really strange.
Grabbed her. Am I overreacting? Am I reaching? Am I becoming a Twitter user? Am I becoming that sensitive? It just looked kind of weird.
I come to the conclusion that what you can say is, what can't you say? I mean, honest to God, I could go on and on about all the wonderful qualities about Miranda, but I know time permits, and I will consolidate it to just
This
one
is
thing.
odd. This is odd, like him touching her, shoulder and then putting his arm around her neck like this. It's just bloody strange, man. It's just so odd. I know I mentioned, I think I might have mentioned before that I've seen this clip before and I watched this video before, but it's just really, really odd. I just don't understand what the hell he's playing at, man. It's just like, who does he think he is? Who on earth does he think he is? Some of these executives, man, some of these high-up people are just, the power goes to their head and they probably think they can get away with anything. That's probably what it is.
In all the years I've known Miranda, I guess 9 years now,
I'm cringing in real time. That's why I'm not saying much. And what is this pose that he loves? It feels like we're seconds away from a Dan Schneider takedown. This is some UFC shit. And if you watch the last video I did on him, and we took a look at some pictures he had, this is like his favorite pose. Wrap his big juicy arms around necks of his actors and actresses. I've seen some people saying it's a power move. I could see it being a power move, especially considering the way people talk about it. And later on in this video, we have a former Nickelodeon actor talking about his experience working with Dan Schneider. And this is not the first time he does this.
About Miranda, but I know time permits, and I will consolidate it to just this one thing. In all the years I've known Miranda, I guess 9 years now, she hasn't changed. Miranda hasn't changed one bit. All those awesome qualities that she had when she was 9 years old.
She looks uncomfortable. I'm just reading the comments right now. I want to get what people are thinking about. Once again, this is the Twitter audience, so some of them are a little bit more unhinged. Just want to put it out there. The way he quickly snatches her arm to get her in his space, this is horrifying. The second he started walking towards her, she was like, oh, please, God, no. Imagine your boss doing this at work. It's not really helping his case. And then we have this video that I found, and it says, I'll never forget how Jerry, Spencer Shea, stepped in to push Dan Schneider away from her. In some of these tweets, there's definitely conspiracy theory vibes. Yeah, I think this is interesting to know. So here we have Spencer. It seems like Dan Schneider's once again going for the freshly turned 18-year-old Miranda Cosgrove. I'm not really into deep reading a lot of these conspiracy theories, but I could see this one. And you guys remember how I was talking about how there was this Nickelodeon actor who spoke out against Dan Schneider. So I'm looking at his catalog, his work at Zoe 101, and this tweet says, Jack, who played Mark on Zoe 101 and was a writer for Victorious and Sam & Cat, speaks out about his experiences working with Dan Schneider.
Oh boy, what a week, y'all. Let's talk about it. My name is Jack. I was a child actor on Zoe 101, one of this guy's shows. I also worked in his production department as an intern on iCarly, and I worked in the writer's room on Sam & Cat and Victorious. This Max documentary that was recently released did a really good job of uncovering the details of workplace toxicity, specifically on Dan Schneider's shows for Nickelodeon. We could talk about the massages. We could talk about the fact that he would literally count his gold coin collection in front of his crew who was living paycheck to paycheck. We could talk about how sometimes he would bring out a shotgun to scare one of the writers when they were working at his house.
Now, that is one crazy claim. Do I believe it? I mean, it is Dan Schneider, so I wouldn't be that surprised if it does turn out to be real. Now, once again, referencing my last video, he does talk about how he used to scream at people, how he would lose his temper, how he wasn't the best boss, despite the fact that other people were really good to him when he was coming up as a producer, director, and he hates the fact that he couldn't repay the favor because he treated a lot of his staff bad. Like, I don't know if Dan Schneider is going to release a part 2 because more and more stuff is coming out about it.
Oh, goodness. If he did release a part 2, it'd just be more nonsense that doesn't give us a clear picture, and it's just him trying to bloody, I don't know, make excuses and clabber things together to try and form something to make himself look less worse.
We gotta get Tebow out of that place. He's not a good interviewer. He asked the softest questions one could imagine. The questions I would ask is, are these claims that you were counting your gold coins in front of the writers who are living paycheck to paycheck real? Are those claims real? Is it true that you love feed And of course, the biggest elephant in the room, the whole Ariana Grande sexualization over the years. And that interview really didn't address a lot of the big things people want to know. It feels like every 48 hours there's a new update regarding Dan Schneider. The Dan Schneider 1.4 update, shotgun allegation.
Talk about the high-level conversations I wasn't supposed to hear about how Nickelodeon didn't want to recommend antidepressants for Jeanette McCurdy after her mom died for fear that she might kill herself and make the network look bad. But what I do want to talk about is never letting this stuff happen again. This is an entire industry built on hope and dreams and adrenaline and wish fulfillment. And that can be a very dangerous thing for megalomaniacs to wield.
Thing is, all I say with the people that go on Nickelodeon, right? If I don't know, if you're someone who out there who wants to star in some weird little comedy that isn't highly rated, like I don't know, there's nothing wrong with having these goals and these aspirations and these wants to be in something like, I don't know, Drake and Josh and whatever. And I guess you are going to be more famous and well known and you're going to be looked up to rather than someone who, I don't know, who can I think of who's a bit of an underrated skilled actor who's been in a few things. Can't think off the top of my head, to be honest, just because lower level actors don't really get all the credit anymore, do they? The point being, you're not going to be like as well respected as like any of the actors on iCarly or Drake and Josh. They're not going to be as well respected as like Leonardo DiCaprio. Maybe they made a
So sorry about that.
Okay.
Just had a massive problem, that's all.
No worries, mate.
I'll explain after.
It's all right, bro. But yeah, as I was saying, at the end of the day, like you're not going to be as well respected as like Leonardo DiCaprio or Samuel L. Jackson or Robert Downey Jr. You got to just think like, what happens to Miranda Cosgrove or the people who star in Zack and Cody after the shows? Are they in anything big? No. So is this industry of odd little comedies, is it really worth it? Well, if that's what you want to do and you want to have some fun, then I guess fair enough. But I think people should go for proper films. But even then, horrendous things happen in the film industry. It seems weird that Hollywood seems to be able to get away with evil stuff. And the evil stuff Nickelodeon have done is catching up to them. But Hollywood seems to still get away with things. So I wish there'd be more of an outroar towards all these big, powerful groups who are screwing people over rather than just Nickelodeon. But you know what? At the end of the day, Nickelodeon getting exposed is better than just than no one getting exposed for evil.
Even in posting this, I'm a little afraid. Is this going to screw up my career moving forward? I have no idea, but I think it's important and it needs to be said. Because if my silence ensures the perpetuation of environments I don't want to work in anymore, then what is the point of working in them? And until Homeboy goes on 60 Minutes to answer some questions from some real journalists and not a cast member of his who he's paying to be there, apology not accepted.
And I'm inclined to believe him because at this point, if you...
This is how AI optimizes my...
me that Dan Schneider fucked a baby turtle in front of the whole iCarly cast, I would believe it, okay? Like, this guy has one of the worst reputations, and I get it, right? Don't believe everything you see or hear. Wait for the other side of the story. I get that, and I'm for that. Okay, prove me wrong, then. Actually, don't prove me wrong. Prove everyone wrong, especially the people that you've heard. Prove them wrong, that they're lying for whatever reason. I don't know, clout, 15 seconds of fame, whatever you guys want to call it. Stop with the corny, safe interviews. We all know what you're doing. In a way, it's kind of insulting that he thinks he could get fucking Tebow, the smoothie worker, and make this sad, hard-hitting interview about Dan Schneider. And thank you so much, Dan Schneider, for giving me time out of your busy day. He has nothing going on. He hasn't worked on anything.
Yeah, he's just some fat lazy slob who probably did all his hard work years ago and was a bellend when he was working bloody hard to people. I mean, it's just ridiculous. This man has nothing going on. He has all the free time in the world to just sit there and go, I'm not a bad guy, really. Come on, guys. He has all the free time in the world to do all that nonsense, doesn't he?
Hiring him. But at this point, who would want to work with Dan Schneider? Who would want to put him in the credits of their show, movie, whatever. That's one thing I hated about the interview, that it makes it seem like he's so busy and he's gracing us with his time and presence. Thank you for giving us 19 minutes of the worst, safest questions possible. I found this tweet from 2013, and this is from the Salmon Cat account. Salmon Cat tomorrow, right on the bottom of your foot, take a pic and use hashtag SalmonCatSaturday. Or retweet and follow into your fingers are sore. Got sore, my
Disgusting.
bad. Asking your fans to take pictures of their feet. And this is not a fake parody account. That is one hell of a request right there. Asking your extremely underage fans to take a picture of their feet and send them online. Especially considering most of the people who were watching this show were like 8 years old. Like, what? But guys, it just doesn't stop.
Dan seemed like he was untouchable. But around 2017, the internet videos around Dan really started gaining momentum.
He made them do things that were very weird.
There are all these setups that reference porn, like squirting goo on Jamie Lynn's face when she's just 13 years old.
Feel these kids' feet. Wow, they're really soft.
People were
looking. Okay. 1 second. Yeah, this episode, I remember watching it as a kid. And it was one of the weirdest things ever. Like, in case you guys don't know, this is a Victorious episode where they have these fishes who give you the softest feet possible. I think that was like Dan Schneider's wet dream come true. Just all these actresses showing their feet for the whole episode, or what felt like the whole episode. Yeah, this was definitely a Dan Schneider wet dream. Absolutely.
Old scenes and saying Dan Schneider is obsessed with feet. Check this out.
All very gross and foul things.
To escape children's feet.
Dan Schneider, absolutely disgusting.
He's a grown-ass man. What the are you doing?
I don't know why the hell.
There's one video of Ariana Grande making a joke about a potato.
Sometimes I wonder if you can get juice from a potato.
I don't know if I could show that, because that is a bit weird, and I don't want this video or my whole channel to be taken down, so you could imagine what happens. It's just something that didn't need to be filmed in the first place. And I know that it was a web exclusive, but it's so weird.
I worked with an incredibly emotionally abusive producer.
I did not feel safe around Dan Schneider while I was working at Nickelodeon.
All of this information has made us wonder what was happening behind the scenes.
You know, this has me thinking, was Dan Schneider the Harvey Weinstein of like Nickelodeon? And there's a lot of people who ask you, well, why didn't they speak out sooner? When you're in the industry, you don't want to rub people the wrong way, because then if you speak out, oh, we look at that, you've been replaced, or once the show is over, you're not going to be able to work anywhere else because you're going to be blacklisted. And especially in the early 2000s when he had control of everything. Can you imagine if any of these young actresses or actors spoke out against Dan Schneider? Especially back then, the culture was way different. They would have canceled the show, they would have replaced them, they would have fired them, and they would have told them, yeah, for speaking out, you will never in a million years be able to work here again, or any other industry. And considering he was a power-hungry freak, yeah, it makes sense why a lot of people didn't speak out or they were scared. Now, before we go, I want to take a look at this video. It's going crazy viral. It says, well, Josh Peck showed himself to be a complete dirtbag. He posted this video presumably about Drake Bell and is blocking anyone who asks him if it's about Drake.
If I haven't talked to you since 2023, take that as a fucking sign that you don't exist to me anymore. Damn, you fucking bug. You got sprayed with the raid. Bye.
Yeah, I like Josh when he was fatter. And as you can imagine, yeah, people are not rocking with this video.
Yeah, very pathetic. Some of those sarky, absolutely stupid, pathetic. I don't even know, man. I don't know what's wrong with that bloke. Absolute bellend. I mean, who, as a grown man, goes on to bloody TikTok and goes, hey, the rings, there, you've been with the rings. If I haven't talked to you since 2023. It's like, bro, what the hell is this man's problem, man? It's just, I don't even know what to bloody say. I don't even, too much money and too much bloody time not in the real world. Actually, no, probably the too much time not in the real world, if we're being honest. Goodness gracious, what an idiot.
Yeah, they're extremely pissed. And then we get this video, and this is Drake Bell letting everyone know that Josh Peck has personally reached out.
This is really, processing this and going through this is a really emotional time, and a lot of it's very, very difficult. So not everything is put out to the public, but I just want you guys to know that he has reached out to me, and it's been very sensitive, but he has reached out to talk with me and help me work through this, and has been really, really great. So I just wanted to let you guys know that, and to take it a little easy on him.
I'm glad Drake could be the bigger man, because it would have been extremely easy for Drake to, attack Josh or make
crazy after everything Drake had to endure. He still ended up being such a mature, grown-up person about, everything that he's been through, and he's an example of someone who's, learned to live with the horrendous adversity he's had to suffer, and it's just heartbreaking. But it's mad how Josh, Peck, who hasn't really had to deal with anything as horrific as Drake Bell, he hasn't had to deal with any of that crap, but yet he's acting like the most idiotic, mad bloody brat I've ever bloody seen. It's just bizarre, man. It's crazy, but yeah, madness.
make fun of him, because right now everyone's on his side. It's tragic what he went through with that disgusting fucking freak that took advantage of Drake Bell when he was like 13, 14 years old. I'll say it again. Anyone who harms kids deserves the electric chair. I don't care if that's a hot take. I don't care if fucking weirdos online are going to defend, are gonna be like, no, pedophiles should get treatment. No, lock them away, put them in the electric chair. Okay, jail is not enough. They've potentially ruined the kid's life because of their sick desires. No, they don't deserve justice. They deserve the electric chair. Anyways, guys, a lot more shit has been going on since,
You know what? The more I think about it, I know earlier I said if I was in charge, I want them locked up for life and everything, but they've done what what Brian Peck did. At the end of the day, they do deserve the electric chair for that, or the lethal injection, and it's proven to be them with beyond a shadow of a doubt. Then they do deserve that.
The last time I talked about Dan Schneider, the whole Nickelodeon situation. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading them. Before you go, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. We're so close to have 1 million subscribers. Don't forget to like, share, and yeah.
Hold on, whenever he says
subscribe to the channel, we're so close.
Does that only shine when he says subscribe to the channel? This
Since
subscribe.
the last time I talked about Dan Schneider, the whole Nickelodeon situation. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading them. Before you go, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. We're so close to have 1 million subscribers.
That's interesting how the YouTube website knows something's picking up that he says subscribe to the channel and it shines this button. Cool. Tragic, sad situation, but at least everyone's having a go at Nickelodeon, and at least people are being made aware of these horrible things that are happening. I've got no clue when George is getting back, so I don't really know what to do because it's such a serious one. I don't want to start going on a tangent. I guess if George does have anything to say, he can, say it in his own time, I guess, on his channel maybe. I don't want to leave the stream silent for like 10 minutes just for George to get back and say something. So I guess I'll give George 2 more minutes just to leave no stone unturned. So what time is it now? 3 minutes past 9. Another annoying thing about Apple, it says that the time is 9 o'clock. And it always bloody goes too far forward or too far back the time. Does it? So annoying, man. It does take a few months, but I have to keep updating it over and over again, man. It's so annoying. But yeah, we'll give it till 9, and then we will wrap it up there then. Well, yeah, it's 9:05 now. George has got something going on anyway, so you know, he's got some. He sent me a message saying what it is, and it's something personal he's got to deal with. So the utmost respect, you know, that he's got to deal with it. At the end of the day, it's very rare that he just goes off the podcast and doesn't say anything for ages. So I don't think he's ever done it before, to be honest. But it's a genuine, valid reason. We'll end that one there then. Obviously, Dan Schneider, disgusting, horrible dude. Brian Peck, disgusting, horrible dude. Well, even worse, even more evil and horrendous. Well, way more evil and horrendous. Just horrific and sad. It's mad that the dude got 16 months in prison. 16 months for the atrocities he committed. It's just... I don't know what to say. It makes me sick. It's just heartbreaking. I just hope Drake Bell can continue to keep learning to live with it, and hopefully there'll be way more safeguarding within the industry from here on out. You do get a bit worried sometimes because obviously, I mean, I don't watch many shows that have like child actors, but Stranger Things, you know, obviously they were all in it, the main characters, well, the gang, you know, Will, Mike, Lucas, Dustin, 11, Max. I think that's the squad, isn't it? You know, you just hope that they all got treated well when they were younger, and obviously you hope that all the adult actors get treated well as well, and they're not being forced to do anything daft or stupid or degrading. And if they are having to do something a bit daft as a character, then, you know, hopefully they're discussed with it before. Hopefully it's discussed with them. Say if they have to, I don't know, not even anything inappropriate, just like something like going, bah! You know, or acting really stupid on there. Hopefully it's just all explained to them well beforehand, and they're okay with acting stupid on camera or whatever they're being asked to do. Just, you know, make sure you treat your actors well, respect their boundaries, and make sure they're okay with doing what they're being asked to do. So yeah, we'll leave that one there then. Thank you for watching, and see you later. Take care. Bye.